Okay guys, so we are back here in the master bedroom, and this is actually right where Kai does a lot of his live videos from this station here. It's a 3-drawer dresser. This is the TV cabinet, and originally this rig was designed to have an old tube television in it, and those weigh quite a bit more than the flat screens that we have today. So this cupboard isn't necessary for our TV, but we would like some extra storage. And so what we've decided is we're actually going to move the TV out of this cabinet and attach a wall mount to the side of the cabinet here. And what we'll be able to do is then tuck the TV to the side right up against this when we're not using it, and then flip it out this way so that it's facing the camera now, which is actually right where our bed is at. I'm gonna go ahead, we've already taken the TV out of here. I have it on the bed right here. I have to attach this mount. Now, I did buy a mount that was for a 32-inch or bigger TV. This TV is actually only a 24-inch, so I do have to make a little bit of a modification on it where the power plug connects to the television. I'm going to notch that out so that this has plenty of clearance here when it's fully hooked up and attached, and I won't have to worry about it. That way I can get these to line up perfectly, the screw holes in the back of this bracket. So I moved up to the front to change a blade on my oscillator multi-tool, which on mine's really easy. You just flip this handle up like so, loosen it counterclockwise, like that. And for recording purposes, I already saved us the time and opened the new blade, which, if you know me, you know that I've already lost it. But it's right here. Okay, so you're gonna pop that new blade on. There. I like to put mine at an angle usually because it just depends on the angle you're working at, but that's the nice thing about these multi-tools, is that you can change the angle of your blade pretty easily. Tighten that back down. Now on this, you want to first make sure that you know which side goes up. There's an arrow on the back that points up, so when it's on the wall I know that's up. That makes this the bottom, and right here is where I was having some issues with the plug bumping this a little bit on the back of the TV. So before I attach this to the TV, I'm just going to notch out a little section of the metal here. Not too much. It's definitely not going to do anything to the integrity of the backing plate, but it is going to give clearance for that plug to go right there. So don't do what I'm doing. Also, I'm working here on my legs. That's not smart. There's lots of things that could go wrong, especially when you're cutting metal. Okay, so I didn't realize it, but when I flipped that upside down, I actually cut the wrong side, and I'll show you that here in the next clip. Quick side note, I did get a special blade from, it's a Dremel Universal blade, but this one has carbide teeth, and I don't know if you can see, but on there it's got the gold. There's carbide teeth. That's gonna ensure that it can cut this metal pretty easily, pretty close to butter. Like that. Be careful because those pieces are going to fly out, and they might be hot as well. These are a little bit warm, but they're not hot. Okay, so you just want to be super careful right here because these edges are probably pretty sharp, and they're going to be able to cut you pretty easily. If you have a grinder attachment for your Dremel or something like that, you can buff that down. Anyway, I've got that, so we're going to go check it right now, and if it fits, attach it to the TV. Here's what we got, you guys. Now, I flipped it upside down, so I accidentally cut this side here, and I needed to cut this side. Let's see if I can get these holes lined up. There we go. So now this plug has plenty of clearance. That's what I needed. So I had to modify it a little bit. Now these holes were already here, and they line up with the holes in the TV. So all I need to do is figure out which spacers, washers I need. The question is, will I need a spacer or a washer? just a Phillips head. And that seems to be tight, but this is moving. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw a washer on there to stop the wiggle of the back plate itself. Because in an RV especially, you don't want any extra wiggle. So that's still not enough for my satisfaction. This says it's just a 2.5mm spacer. Okay, so I'm gonna use one of these spacers that was provided here and see if that does a better job. I'm also gonna use the washer as well, because I just don't feel like it was getting quite enough grab. And tight. This shouldn't move. It does not. All right, I think we found the way to do this here. All right, you guys. So now, as you can see, I have all four in the back of the TV. So when I lift the mount up, I should pick up the entire TV, and I do. All right. So we had to cut this out here. We've mounted this with spacers. I used 2.5mm black spacers that were provided, along with the M4 12mm screw and the M4 washer. And I use that in all four of these spots. Now, what I have to do is reinforce the back side of this cabinet with a piece of plywood. So I'm just gonna put a piece of that on the back of here before I attach the mount to the outside, and then we should be able to swing our TV as we please. So I went ahead and measured the inside of that cabinet that I showed you, and it works out that I need it to be about 16 inches wide and about 20 inches tall. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out of this piece of plywood that I had purchased when I replaced some of the rotten floor that you saw in another one of my videos. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this cut, and then we'll take you back inside and show you how we install. I want to go ahead and point out I'm not wearing safety goggles or earplugs, and you may want to do that. You want to knock off all that excess sawdust so you don't take that inside, especially if you're living in there right now. But this should fit nicely in there. Let's see. That's nice, you guys. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just screw this off. I'm gonna use 6 screws, 3 down each side in the back and 3 down the front. Make sure you don't have any screws coming out that you didn't want. And that's ready to be mounted. Now for us here, we need to make sure that we have plenty of clearance when we have it pulled out. But the main thing is that we want to make sure that we clear the ceiling, because out here by the window, the ceiling gets a little bit lower, and you just want to make sure that you have plenty of clearance. So, looks like we will have the clearance we need. All right, guys, so with a little bit of elbow grease and some help from Kyle, we were able to get this mounted. I've got 2 of the lag bolts already installed here and here. And as you can see, it is coming through here a little bit, like here and here. I've got one more to do, so we're gonna go ahead and put that baby in. We have officially mounted the TV to the cabinet at this point, and the only thing that we want to do now is adjust these 2 little Allen head bolts here and here. And what this is actually going to do is it adjusts the tilt of the television on the mount. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We want it to tilt a little more forward so that it'll give it a downward angle toward the bed. After I adjust that, I'm going to make an adjustment here and drill some holes for the coax cable and any other leads that I need to bring through this, including the power line, because inside of the cabinet is where the power outlet is for this television set. just need to loosen both sides enough that the TV's gonna tilt forward. Up here, I just used a 7/8 paddle bit to drill a hole through. You can see I've already run the power cord through this hole from the plug here inside the cabinet, through the hole, and then out to the TV here, and I've hooked it up. Now I also have to run the coax, so the piece that was in here is actually too short to make it to the TV when the TV's fully extended. So what I'm gonna do is, I had this extra piece of coax that came with a new antenna that I installed on the top of the RV. So what I'm actually gonna do is just feed this over to the TV through that same hole there, like this. Pull that through the other side and hook it up right into the back of the TV here. Make sure you got plenty of slack. And just finger tighten that. Make sure it's nice and secure. Okay. Okay, so with this particular wall mount, it actually comes with this Velcro strap. You can pull your coax here. There you go. Okay, and then up in the cabinet here, make sure your coax isn't going to pinch itself or anything. I'm not sure what happened, but I need to get this reinstalled here. I'm going to disconnect this old coax and connect the new coax. And again, just finger tight's good for these connections. We know where the power button is. We have power. It's connected to our Wi-Fi. I just have to clean the screen and it'll be good to go. Does it look crooked? No. All right. All right, well, that's about it for this project. As you can see, I've got the cabinet completely cleaned out. I refastened everything here to the box, the power outlet and the coax lead, so that everything's nice. Sawed off the end of the lag bolts that were coming through so that they're not going to protrude and possibly cut somebody. So I went ahead and cut those off here. We've got the TV mounted. All of the wires are secured. Mounting bracket is secured to the cabinet, and we are ready to watch some TV.